Welcome back to Avalon and Ninth. Please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Are you ready for a new 52 weeks project? Because here we go. This year it is 52 weeks of fandom. So, what does that mean? Well, it means anything that has been popular in pop culture. So that can be books, TV, movies, anything that's been popular in pop culture that people reference, people use, people do memes about, anything like that. So I have lots and lots of things, and that can mean anything that at one point was like super popular, and has kind of changed pop culture in a way. So that's kind of my idea on fandom this year. So I know that we had talked about which way I was going to go this year. So, before I get started, first off, this kit is from Frank Hearts You. This is week 1, and I am merging week 1 and week 2 into the same video just because these were very two short videos as I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, because I'm doing things a little bit differently this year. I am, whatchamacallit? I'm not really, I don't have a theme. So last year it kind of, merged between like journaling, and then it would just be like a catch-all planner and things like that. This time I wanted it to be something specific. So each day we're going to do something called This Day in History, and I'm going to choose from something on this day in history for that date to write down. I thought about doing like the headline of the day, but everything is so politically charged right now that I felt like that could ostracize a lot of people, and that's not what I want to do. I'm very, pro have your own choice, whatever you want to be, however you want to do, like that, as long as you're not hurting people. Anyways, I'm not going to segue into that too much, but I felt like the headline of the day was going to be too politically charged and too divisive, and that's not what I wanted my channel to be at all. So I opted to do something instead called This Day in History, because there's so much to choose from in history, and there's also some things that I don't know, and I learned some things in doing these couple of weeks that I didn't know about. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have these little stickers that are like, extra news alerts from the Coffee Monsters Co. And I use one of those every day, and then I title it TDIH, for This Day in History. And then I put the year, and then I put what happened in history. And that is what I'm going to do for it. And then it's also, I don't know what else is going to go into this planner, because I really do want it to focus on the kits. So I'm going to use a lot from the kits that I can, but I'm not going to use things that, I'm not going to, if I've already written it once in my catch-all planner, and then if it revolves around the kids and put it in our memory planner, I am not going to put it down again in this. So if anything that didn't happen get in those planners, then I might put it down in here. But overall, I'm going to really focus on this day in history. And after doing these two spreads, I'm going to be printing some of my functional graph box stickers so that I can, and doing some custom scripts for this day in history. But for now, for these first 2 weeks, it is a pen on there. So I'm just getting everything set up for this. I really wanted to put that house right there with the balloons because that's very iconic. And this is what I get started. So this is the first week we start for 52 weeks is the very first full week in the year, which means that was January 4th through the 10th. And so that's what week number 1 is. For this day in history, on January 4th, 1896, Utah becomes the 45th state. I just grabbed this one because I am from Utah, so I figured, let's make it a little bit about me, because this is my project. This is my baby. So Utah becomes 45th state. On Tuesday, the 5th, this day in history, 1896, German physicist, and forgive me because I will probably butcher names and that is not intended. I just don't know how to pronounce them and I'm just trying my best. Wilhelm Röntgen, I think it is announced for discovering X-rays. That's amazing. 1896, on this 2 days apart in the same year. Like, amazing things happened. And that was not my intent to do, is like 2 days of 1896. That wasn't. Those were just the two interesting facts that I found. So, on Wednesday the 6th, I have actually two things that I end up putting down here, because one is a present day history event that I think is something that will come up on this day in history for years to come. But this day in history, 1987, the University of California astronomers witnessed the birth of a galaxy with 1 billion stars. What? Really? 1987? I know we don't talk a lot about space, and so that was just like, really? That was back in 1987? I would have thought that was something that was like happening in the 2000s. But see, this is not things. See, I'm learning things along in this, and who knows what things it'll spark. But the other thing that I put on here was this was the day that the U.S. Capitol is stormed by protesters. And that is all that I put. That was something that just wanted to put as a this day in history type thing. Plus, I also didn't have anything else to put on that egg because it had already made it into other planners. So, that is what it is. On the 7th, this day in history, 1953, Harry S. Truman announces that the U.S. had developed the hydrogen bomb. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm really not going to try and give any opinions on this because it's just this day in history, but everything that I put in here is really, some of them I did know, and I tried not to do those, but I knew that in 1896 that Utah was admitted as the 45th state, but everything else I did not know. So everything is going to be new to me, so I may give like initial thoughts, maybe, I don't know, we'll see how this goes, but this is just, let's learn some interesting tidbits, because you never know when you might need this information for your Jeopardy game. That's what I'm saying. So TPC sale starts. Like I said, I didn't have anything else to put in here, so I just wanted to fill it up with a couple of things, and it was payday. Why was that shaking so bad? Did I really just shake that paper around so violently trying to figure out what I was going to do? It was just like, I'm like, what the heck? I didn't even notice that I was doing that. Okay. So it was payday. Payday for work. So, my work. So, moving on to Friday. Once again, I don't have things that I'm going to, struggle in putting down because I didn't want to put checklists because there was no reason. Well, technically I could have done the checklist and then done this on top. I could have done that. Food for thought for next time. So this day in history, on January 8th, 1815, the Battle of New Orleans was fought. This was the last battle of the War of 1812. So if you didn't know that, well, now you knew, and now if it comes up on Jeopardy, you'll remember it, hopefully. So so like I said, I didn't have anything to put there, so I ended up putting down just a couple of these headers strips and putting things down. I'm sitting here struggling, what am I gonna put down here? This is hard for me. This is hard. So I end up putting down the little house because we ended up picking up house that day. And then the other thing that we did was we cleaned bathrooms. I don't always put our cleaning schedule in my planner because it really kind of is, when I wake up, that's kind of what I decide to tell everybody what to do. I really do probably need to just do it because I don't clean my bathrooms. I mean, if you're looking at my planner being like, man, she's a dirty person. I only see her talk about cleaning bathrooms once every 3 months. No, I do them. I just don't. It's just never makes it in my planner and I forget. That's all. Because I don't have a weekly cleaning schedule. Like, I don't do the same things on the same day. Anyways, Saturday the 9th. This day in history, 1788, Connecticut becomes the 5th state. Didn't know. And on Sunday, this day in history, in 1776, Thomas Paine's Common Sense is published. If you have not read that book, I suggest reading it. I have one copy, and I have it's an updated version so that it has what he wrote and then how it explains in our modern day English, which I found quite fascinating. I love history just for the sake of history, and so I will read things that I can, and I'm very fascinated with like the things that happened with the birth of our nation, the birth with the United States. I know that not everybody that watches is from the United States, so when I say the birth of our nation, I mean the birth of the United States. So, because it's interesting to me. It's just fascinating to me. So, but that was week 1. And I did do work on the 9th and 10th. So, I'm going to move on to week 2. This kit is from Sticker Geek Designs. If you're like, didn't you just do her in week 2 of your 52 weeks of Halloween? Yes, I did. This was not intentional. I don't know why I picked another kit from her. I do have a few kits, and I probably really need to see how she uses her kits to lay them out because I'm confused. Because this did not come together the way that I thought it was, and I feel like the layering or where I'm putting things is incorrectly. Obviously, the bottom washi, no. But everything else I feel is like really, really weird. So I do need to like watch her videos on how she lays out her kits. Just so that, because I think I'm doing something wrong. But I struggled with this bottom washi on this left-hand side of the page, you guys. Like, twice. There it goes. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it got... I'm very thankful that the paper that EC uses is very, very forgiving. Because mine is not as forgiving. Especially with my sticker paper. But yeah. But yes, I am using a 2020-2021, well, it's technically a 2021 planner from EC. This will be the last year I use ECs because I have my own planners. And so, see, like this is like, where do I put this? Do I put it up against the line? Do I match it up with the washi? What's going on? I'm like, oh yeah, I think you're supposed to like put these little washi strips up at the top. So that's what I do. But it's just... it's a hot mess because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I don't know where anything goes. Is that where they're supposed to go? Or is it supposed to go down below on top of the bottom one? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then I'm trying to figure out where all of this goes. And then see how it lays on that? Like, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not gonna sit here and fight it. Like, I don't understand. So maybe I'm doing things wrong. I don't know. But yes, I did use her kit for week 2 of 52 weeks of Halloween, and now I'm doing it this year. No, I didn't put the sidebar thing upside down this time, so a pat on the back for me. But I do have a lot of kits from her because she does do a lot of like fandom based items. So she does have some newer kits out, but I won't be purchasing them because this is not totally my planning style. Not completely fond of how everything's set up, so I don't know. Maybe I will, but I have quite a few from her, so anyways. And then I just do this so that I can, I didn't want it to layer over that top washi too much. So the eggs are just kind of layered over on top of that. So, but I struggled with this kit, you guys. I struggled with it. And maybe it was because... No, these were some of the first videos that I filmed on filming day. Because I wanted to get them up out of the way because I was so excited to do another 52 weeks project. I'm already... Like, I'm a forward thinker, you guys, apparently, because I'm already trying to figure out what I'm going to do for next year's 52 weeks project. And I'm sure as we get closer to the end, it will evolve into something, going on there. Because I don't want it to just be about stickers. I do want it to be helpful and stuff. But, this is also some way, like for a lot of people, planning is, or laying down stickers is therapy. It calms you down. You have to focus. Like, it can be something. So this can just be something of where it's a visual, like memory keeper. You can put everything down, and you could jot something down about, the shop that it is, or whatever it may be. Just, even something therapeutic. It doesn't always have to be functional, because I can tell you right now, this kit would not work with my planning style. If I had to plan everything out for the day, this would not work. So for Monday the 11th, this day in history, in 1964, the Surgeon General warns about dangers of smoking. So this is when a report came out from the Surgeon General office, from the government, about the dangers of smoking. That was the year my mother was born. That's crazy that it wasn't that long ago that we figured out the dangers of smoking. And still, to this day, some people don't believe in those dangers until it's too late. And that's tragic. Because I have, seen the side effects of people I love that smoked for years and years. And as they get into their older age, their lungs just don't work. So it's sad. It is. I do just end up adding the today headers, partly to cover up any lines, like those little dotted lines if need be, and then just the quarter boxes to just put that it was a working day, and then use any of the deco going on. And I do put that little header down there, but I am going to switch it out because there wasn't enough of those headers, and I just end up using the headers of the littles. So on Tuesday, this day in history, 1932, here's one for you. The first female senator, Hattie Caraway, is elected in Arkansas. So 1920 is when women gained the right to vote. And then in 1932, we had our first female senator that was elected, and it came from Arkansas. How amazing is that? I've stayed the night in Little Rock, Arkansas on a trip up to Chicago, and that's the only place that I've been in Arkansas. Other than that, I have not interacted with people from Arkansas or anything like that. So if you're from Arkansas, congratulations. You know something in history that is from 1932 that you elected your first female senator. So this is where I move it along to add the littles thing in there, because like I said, I didn't have enough of those green ones. So I just put the littles on top of all of these. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. To kind of not take up time. But then I do use like the deco that's provided, because there's nothing else for me to put in this planner. So on to Wednesday, this day in history. And when I was looking at this day, I was like, okay, which one do I use? And then I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, this is like iconic. This is the one I'm going to use. 1999, Michael Jordan announces his second retirement. Do you know when he came out of his second retirement? 2001. His second retirement lasted 2 years. At least that's what the thing said. So, I mean, you can't believe everything you believe on the internet or that you read on the internet, but I would hope that an informational like website that is dedicated to things in like history, and I have verified these. I have verified a couple of these amongst other websites to ensure that I'm not just getting my chain yanked here. But, so second retirement, 2001 is and I think he came out of that second retirement. Another working day was that day, and I love the phrase, hold on to your butts. It's my favorite. I even tell that to my kids. It's like, I love it. So, like when we have a busy day, hold on to your butts. And then I really wanted to use this full box sticker here, so I was like, you know what? You're gonna go here because I don't have anything else to put there. So on Thursday in this day in history, we are going back to 1990. This is when The Simpsons premiered on television after an aired special in December. So I want to say December 17th, 1989, The Simpsons had a 1 hour premiere, like Christmas special. And I guess everybody loved it and all of that, that they became a primetime special starting in January of 1990. So there's your little tidbits about The Simpsons and why they're so still around. I don't know why they're still around. How many of you have like seen the little things going around about The Simpsons predicting the future? How many of you guys believe that? Like that, there's some people out there that really believe that The Simpsons are predicting the future. I love The Simpsons. I watch it with my kids, and it's amazing. It's a fun show. Sometimes it gets a little like out there, but you know, it's The Simpsons. It's iconic American TV. On Friday the 15th, this day in history, 1943, the Pentagon is completed, and at this time it is considered the world's largest office building. On Saturday the 16th, I don't have anything to say about the Pentagon. On this day in history, 1920, Prohibition begins. And I found it quite fitting to put the things there saying, life finds a way. Because that's like, you had underground speakeasies, and you had underground, like, alcohol dispensaries, like, people were making their own moonshine type thing, like, Prohibition was a crazy time. And then finally on Sunday, this day in history, 1991, Desert Storm hits Iraq. So it was declared on the 16th, and there. So that's what I have for you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.